Hello guys and what's up? Today we are going to be learning how to mine cryptocurrency on Raspberry Pi. So there's a few things to actually consider before doing this yourself, which is the limitations and the things you're going to need for this. The limitations are you're not going to make any profit from this. This is more of like a learning thing. You're going to learn how to use a Raspberry Pi, Linux. You're going to learn how to use Linux, Raspberry Pi, and you're going to learn about cryptocurrency. Learning. So apart from that, the things you're gonna need are obviously Raspberry Pi. Got my right here. You can also see my Raspberry Pi is connected to a case. I don't think you can see. It has a heatsink and a fan. So these are another three things I would recommend getting, because the heatsinks and the fan improve your performance of your Pi by a lot, and the case improves its durability. So the thing, you could use a Raspberry 4 or a Raspberry Pi 5 for this. If you haven't bought your Raspberry Pi yet, I recommend you get a higher RAM Raspberry Pi. I'm using Raspberry 5 with 8 gigabytes of RAM. I recommend getting a Raspberry Pi 5 with a bit higher RAM. It's okay if you don't have that much RAM. It'll just affect a little bit of a performance though. Long term, I would recommend getting more RAM. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm using Raspberry 5 with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So along with this, you're gonna need a micro SD card. You see, an SD card adapter if your computer does not have a SD card slot, and the Raspberry Pi power supply. See, Raspberry Pi logo, the specifications right here. Because if you don't have the correct power supply for your Raspberry Pi, it's gonna also impact your performance of your Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi 5 uses 5 volts and 5 amps of power, while the Raspberry Pi 4 uses only 5 volts and 3 amps of power. So you could use the Raspberry Pi 4 power supply for Raspberry Pi, but it'll impact the the performance of the Raspberry Pi. So aside from that, those are the physical things you're gonna need. You're gonna need the applications you're gonna need, or like the software versions you're gonna need, are a Raspberry Pi Imager. I'll just show you how to get it really quickly. It's really simple. You go to Google. Here you go, and just search up Raspberry Pi Imager. There we go. Just click the first link, and then just download it from Mac OS or Linux, or in my case Windows. It's just a straight up installation. You just go here, click, just press yes to the pop-up, and just select your language that you can use. I'm choosing English, and just click OK. Just click next, accept the agreement, and then click next. While it's installing, you just after it installs, it's gonna not taking that long to install. Wait a second. Yeah, there we go. Just click finish, and it's gonna open it up. See, this is Raspberry Pi Imager version 2.7. So it's the newest version in 2026 March. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm using Raspberry Pi 5. So I'll just select that, click next, and then the OS. So the first three you see are things with a desktop environment. So like you can select the apps, you have a mouse cursor, basically anything you can see. And I would not recommend this for this project, because this project does not need this, or like a desktop environment. And it uses up unnecessary RAM. Even though I have 8 gigabytes of RAM, I would not use this because it uses unnecessary RAM. And if your storage device is not that big, it uses up 1.2 gigabytes too. While this only uses it uses less, you know. It uses like 0.7 gigabytes, I think. So I'll select Raspberry Pi OS Lite. You just go, let me show you how to do that. scroll down, Raspberry OS other, and then there you go, and just click the first option, 64 bits. If you have like 32-bit option, it's gonna impact your impact your mining performance a bit. So as just like that, click next. Select next. Oh, I forgot to plug in my SD card. Okay, I'll just plug it in really quickly. There we go, plugged in. Let's select that and select next. Make sure exclude system drive is on, and always check the gigabytes. If it's not on, let's just say it's gonna be your system is gonna be wiped fully unless your computer is write protected. I'll make sure to keep that on, and then select next, and then you have to enter your host name. Your host name is basically what your Raspberry Pi is called or identifies us on your Wi-Fi or your network. You can just put anything there as long as you remember what it's called. Like I'll just put Raspberry. There you go. Another thing I forgot to mention is we're going to be using Raspberry Pi Connect for this. You can see here. I'll get to that later when you're on that tab. So now you have to select the time zone and the keyboard layout. I'm using the Finnish layout and I'm in Finland, so I'll just set that. And then you have to select your username and your password. So I'll just put 1234, for example. There you go. 234. There we go. It's next. And then you have to select your Wi-Fi password. So if you're on a computer, the easiest way to get it is to just go to here, click this, and click this. Info tab. It's going to redirect you to settings. You just scroll up and go to Wi-Fi network password and just press show, and then you can copy the name of your Wi-Fi and like the password of it. Just copy that and paste it here. There we go, it's correct. Paste it. And now you have to select if SSH is enabled. So SSH is basically like a backup of what you can do. You basically can get a command prompt on your get a command prompt of your Raspberry Pi on your computer's command prompt using a certain command. But we're not going to be using this. We're going to be using the Raspberry Pi Connect. I recommend keeping this enabled just in case Raspberry Pi Connect somehow fails, which probably won't. So I'll just use password authentication. It's the best because you have to use your password. You have to press next, and then you have to press enable Raspberry Pi Connect for this. So Raspberry Pi Connect is a service that's provided by Raspberry Pi themselves. That's basically, it allows you to get a desktop if you're using a desktop based thing, and or a shell if you're using not a desktop based thing, which we are not using. So if you don't have an account, you can create one for free. Here you go. You have to do this. Okay. Now I close it, didn't I? Let me open it back again. So I need to, I'll just sign in. Create authentication key and launch Raspberry Pi Imager. There we go. You can just close this, or you can just view all devices. You can see when I tested it, when I did this before. This is the device I had. If you, nothing will show up for you because you guys do not, you guys didn't actually run this before, I presume. And then you can see it got the token from browser. Next, and then you have to write the image to this. So I'll just press write, and what this does, it's going to format all the things on your SD card or your USB. So I recommend backing it up if you have anything important, which I don't, so I'll just erase and write. So if you get this message, just ignore it. It's because Windows cannot detect or cannot access the SD card or like the USB when it's being written to. I forgot to mention this. If your storage device is like slow, like SD card or USB is low, it'll say limited by storage device speed, and it's going to say the speed it's getting written at. So it will hover around 50 megabytes to 1 megabyte per second. So just don't press cancel, alright, because it's going to cancel the whole thing and you have to redo it again. So a few things before while that's getting written to is that we're going to be mining Monero. So Monero uses the encryption method called RandomX. If you don't know this, I'll explain it to you. So most cryptocurrencies have a encryption type that if you crack the encryption, you can take that. You can basically hack into it, basically like the cryptocurrency, and that's what all crypto miners do. I can run X. There we go. So RandomX is mostly used by Monero. You can see if I just type RandomX, the first result is Monero. This redirects you to the RandomX website. I mean the Monero website. There you go. And if you look right down, you can see a project application called XMRig. So XMRig is the thing we're going to be using to actually mine the Monero on the Raspberry Pi, because it can mine RandomX and stuff. So XMRig. If you want more information, you can just go to this website. It can mine RandomX, CowPow, Kryptonite, and Ghostwriter. It can also be used as a CPU or GPU miner, but most people use it as a CPU miner. So if you want to use it on your computer as well, you can just download it on your computer and get some mine crypto from that, and that is a bit more profitable. I guess so. It is a bit more power, you could guess so, because this thing called hash rate. And hash rate is the amount of guesses you're doing per second, basically. And the Raspberry Pi gets like 45 to 50. This might seem like a lot, but it's not, because my laptop, my old laptop actually, can do about, this is done. Can do about 3,000 guesses per second, and like dedicated computers for this can do about few 100,000. Which is like a really lot, and that's why they make a lot of money using crypto money. So this is done now. So I don't think you guys saw, because I didn't show you guys. When it's done writing, it's gonna start verifying, and once the verifying is gonna come to this page. You just click finish, and then you can take your SD card out. Just take it out, plug it into my Raspberry Pi right here. Wait a second. Yeah, this way. Go. So I'll just screw in my Raspberry Pi. Put my case on. Oh no. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. That's done. Okay, so I've screwed it in. Now once you got everything on your Raspberry Pi done, you just take the power supply that I showed you guys earlier, plug it into power. Take the USB-C end now, and plug it into this USB-C port here. This is what is used to power the Raspberry Pi. If you guys didn't know, you can't draw power from it. It can only be used to power the Raspberry Pi. And with that, you need to take an Ethernet cable, which I'm using. If you want to use Wi-Fi, that's okay, but I'm personally using Ethernet for this. So once that's done, once you plugged all like the connectors in, you have to wait until like the Ethernet cable, if you're using Ethernet, starts blinking green. That means it's booted. If you're not using Ethernet, you can just leave it for like a minute or so. Like exactly a minute would be enough time for it to finish booting. And you can see it's already flashing green. And if you're using a fan with your Raspberry Pi and it starts for a few seconds and then stops, don't be afraid. It's supposed to do that because the Raspberry Pi only activates its fan if the CPU is above 50 degrees Celsius, which is not going to be while it's not doing anything. But it will be over that, like 80 degrees Celsius while we're mining, because it gets really hot. So when it's blinking green, or when you think it's been booted, just go to the personal device and just reboot it, and you keep rebooting it. And if it doesn't show up, in my case, I'll just give it a few more seconds. I'll just reopen my tab. Oh no, Okay, there we go. Click connect. Go sign in. There you go. You can see it says last seen and it's online. So this is the thing you're supposed to be seeing. If you don't see it, just give it a few more minutes and it's probably work. And you just press connect. It's gonna bring up this remote shell from Google Chrome. It'll take a few seconds to load. So that's that. So this is where we actually get into like the coding part of it. So the first command we're gonna actually do is called sudo. So sudo is basically, how do I say this? It's basically grants you full authority of your Raspberry Pi. If you don't put that, it'll not work, because you need. It's basically like on Windows, you need like administrator powers to actually run it. So it's gonna be sudo apt update, sudo apt update, and with the key. We go and then. Oh, I did space there. So and sudo apt again upgrade, like where to go up, oh my god, upgrade dash y. So I'll just let this run. It's gonna take a bit. This is gonna update the whole entire Raspberry Pi's OS system. As you can see, it says it's on version 2.6. The current version is, I think, 2.10, I think. So I'll let this run. I'll come back when it's done.